Yes, good day, my people. Yeah, today we just want to see a demonstration of a real life situation. You see, we have a situation here where this rat is caught up in this trap, and no matter what he does, there is no way he will be able to come out without external help, because he is actually in a stronghold. He's in a fortified metal cage, and in spite of his effort, no matter what he will try, he can exert energy from the morning till the night and the other day, and there is no way that he'll be able to come out. Now, I just want to use an analogy of this rat situation here to sort of bring out a situation that we experience and we face in real life. Some individuals are caught up sometimes in situations where some people are trapped in life, just like this rat is trapped. And it happens in different ways. Sometimes people are in strongholds, and no matter how much they try, no matter how much effort they exert, they just seem to be in a situation just like this rat is trapped and he cannot come out. And sometimes it is, even in certain countries, it is like an economic stronghold where no matter how hard the people work, it is almost like they just cannot get out of a certain bad socio-economic situations. There are also strongholds with regards to even just general progress on a whole. You know, no matter how some people try, it is just not working. And these strongholds basically are coming out of the philosophies that people believe in. Sometimes you know the schemes that are devised. Some in some countries, in some localities, in some places, there are schemes that are devised to put people at a disadvantage where you are boxed no matter what you try. It seems as if you cannot come out. There are certain secrets that are held in certain countries and in certain places and certain localities, that the secrets are there for years and only few people know the secrets, and most of the people are trapped. Some people are trapped just like this rat is trapped, and they just cannot get out. Sometimes the trap is your tradition, the things that you practice and believe for years and generations. Sometimes the culture, the way of life of the people keep them in a situation just like that rat, where you're trapped and no matter what you do, you cannot get out. Your economic situation is dim. Even your chances of surviving, of actually being alive, is being diminished because of cultural practices, because of the mentality, because of the psyche of the people, because of the preferences of some people, because of even some people being in political power. There was a movie, an old movie I was looking at one time, and it was of a situation in Santo Domingo, where there was a guy who was a dictator who was leading those people, and it was just a very oppressive regime. And you know, people who just moved away from who just rebelled in any way, people who were killed, man, people were just disappearing. And this thing is still happening in some cases. There are strongholds that keep people down for many years, you know, for generations. And you will be surprised that some of these strongholds, it is not very far from the individual, but even in their family members, there are strongholds. Even in people's family members, even in the family, there are strongholds that keep people down, and they just cannot move out of it. And some of these strongholds are there from generation to generation in the families, and it is just holding people down, and they just cannot come out no matter how they try. They just stifled, man. They just like this rat in this cage. They will try to move and they just cannot move. They cannot advance. Sometimes the stronghold is the country that you're living in. No matter how hard you work, you cannot eat. Sometimes a day's work can't buy you a hat. It can't buy you a pants, as this Calypsonian said. You know, sometimes a day's work in some places cannot buy you nothing. You know what I'm saying? And this is just how it is in some places. Strongholds, ideologies, sometimes the taxation system that they use to tax the people, excessive taxes on the poor, and the people who are making money, who really supposed to pay the taxes, the taxes they pay is actually very small compared to the amount of money that they make, but the poor people are overly taxed. Sometimes people work in some places, and most of the money that they actually generate, their revenue actually have to go into purchasing food, and it goes on for years like that. And there is a stronghold. Sometimes a stronghold is the system that is set up by the government, like the customs. The customs system is set up to tax the average person, the ordinary person, at a very high percentage, and the people who have money, they pay next to nothing, and that's how it goes. And these are strongholds. You have a situation even in places like here, like this country here, where, you know, when a poor person is caught with cocaine, they send them to jail. Marijuana, they send them to jail. And you know, they mention their names. Mr. Tom John from wherever, from Richford, from the Riviera, was caught with 3 kilos of cocaine or 100 pounds of compressed marijuana, and they mention their names. They bring their cameras at their family homes and show people the poverty of the people, and their parents crying and all of that. But the rich people in authority in this country, they will commit crime, they will commit murder, and nothing will happen to them. You will see them 3 days, you will see them on the streets walking and smiling, and you will have situations where the big guys will be they will catch them. There's this guy they caught with like buckets upon buckets of compressed marijuana, and the news in the news coverage, they said a prominent man from Castries was arrested. They never mentioned his name. There was this other situation where this boat was caught. There was this boat with drugs and guns in Soufrière, and they never mentioned the guy's name. Now if you're on the streets, you will know who he is, but they never mention their names. And this is a stronghold. These countries are strongholds that oppress the poor. The media is one of the culprits. The media is one of those that keep the poor people down, give them stupid broadcasts that make no sense, that will not help their condition, and they have this preference for rich people. The legal system, a system that is so biased in favor of rich people, and the poor people, children, have to go to Bodley and spend time. This is an example of stronghold, and this rat is right now in a stronghold, and they have the people in a stronghold just like this rat is there. This rat is in this situation. It's in a jail, and the only way it can come out if I release it. And they build prisons, and they build prisons only for the poor people's children, and they have you languishing in prison just like this rat. And no matter what you do, you will not come out. They just have you in prison just like this rat in prison for the same crime, that the rich man will commit, and he will go out free. And all of those things are strongholds. And the only way that this rat can come out, there must be a more powerful force than this rat to open up this cage. And a lot of times we need to understand that we need to have a more powerful force to get out of the strongholds that they have designed and created, because these strongholds have been in operation for some of them for thousands of years, hundreds of years. Some of these strongholds are there from the time the people get their independence in some countries. These strongholds are there. Sometimes these strongholds are there as a result of certain people who are the political leaders of some countries. That is why the strongholds are there, and as long as these people are there, around, you will be under subjection in a stronghold, just like this rat is in a stronghold. But there is a way that the Lord has made provision. God has made provision. The God that made heaven and earth has made provision for us to get out of these strongholds. You do not just sit there and just wait. Now the thing is, the warfare that we have to use. It is not carnal. It is not about arguing with people. It's not about cursing. It is not about using guns. That is not the weapons of warfare that we have to use, because we are not using carnal warfare weapons. We're using spirit. We have to use spiritual weapons to get out of these strongholds. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 5 say, 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 3 to 5, it says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. We are not going to war after the flesh. We are not going to war with our emotions, with our anger, our rage. We are not going to war by just calling radio programs and make noise and behave like we are hopeless. No. But the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, not through our strength, to the pulling down of these same strongholds. These strongholds have to be pulled down in the spirit realm. We're going to cast down imagination and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. We are going to bring down these strongholds in the spirit realm. All these strongholds of culture, strongholds of preference, strongholds of schemes, of secrets, of traditions, of culture, of preference, strongholds of governmental policies to give rich people advantages over the poor. These strongholds, we're going to deal with them in the spirit realm. That's the only way you're going to have success, because these strongholds, in the first place, strongholds are spiritual. They are spiritual strongholds. The people have established themselves on this system in the realm of the spirit. Sometimes it has been established for generation in the spirit realm. Sometimes sacrifices, blood sacrifices have been done for the establishment of these strongholds, and it cannot just be broken just like that, just by you talking or by you being annoyed or angry. It cannot break down strongholds. It must be done in the spirit realm. You must bring down strongholds in the spirit realm. You have to bind them in the mighty name of Jesus. You cannot just speak. You have to bring down strongholds. Strongholds have to go down by fasting. Strongholds have to go down by prayer. Strongholds have to come down by praise in the midnight hours. Strongholds have to come down where you pray and you fast and you ask God to destroy principalities and powers that are preventing you from getting out. The strongholds that they have, where they have you poor and hungry like a rat in a cage. There is a way to bring them down.